Welcome to the Fantasy Football Podcast Extraordinaire Thanksgiving Edition. And being a Lions fan, Thanksgiving edition is the best time of the year because you get to watch the Lions play and you get to eat a lot of good food. And then hopefully we end up with the Lions win and take our rightful spot at the top of the division. Anyway, how you doing, Kyle? What do you think about your Packers for tomorrow?
I'm doing good. I mean, you gotta hope for a Bears loss to get that.
Yeah, I'm calculating all that.
That
I don't trust the Bears long term.
Me neither. But yeah, it's
okay.
It's good to talk to you again. It's been a minute.
I know it's been hard. Life up here has been a little bit hectic. I'm actually been looking for a new job. Some things with that kind of fell through, so that's been a big thing. So like just Tuesday? No, I mean yesterday. Monday I had interviews, so that went pretty good. So I'm hoping that ends up being something positive for me. Because my current employer, they won't let me go full remote, despite me having to drive all the way to Brilliant every other week. So I'm like, I'm gonna find something different.
Sure, yeah. I don't blame you. That's a long drive, especially in winter when it's dark out when you leave and dark out when you're driving back home.
That's the main reason. Actually, in summer it was kind of nice because I'd go disking at Silver Creek or something. Come hang out with you guys for the podcast. That was actually kind of nice. I mean, it was a little bit too much time away still from the family, so it still wasn't great. But it was at least somewhat enjoyable for me because I had so much to do. But yeah, winter it's just going to be a miserable time, like driving in snowstorms. And I even told them like I'm not driving in a snowstorm. They're like, yeah, okay, we understand.
Speaking of which, you guys getting snow up there right now?
Yeah, I think we got a couple inches. The prediction was 3 to 21 inches today. So I don't really know what that even means. Like, is it just because like wind blowing it, or is it just like they just had no clue, so they just threw out numbers? But we probably ended up around like an inch or two. The bigger issue is the wind. There was times it was blowing today and I couldn't even see outside. It was just white.
Yeah, it's windy as shit down here. And it's snowing a little bit, but there's very little accumulation. But it's like freezing, icy shit on the bottom.
Yeah, Vicky's right now on her way home from like Iron Mountain. It's like a 15 miles or so, and she's kind of worried just because the roads are kind of crappy. It's getting colder now.
Yeah.
No more sun. Can't see that well. Yeah. So.
Yeah, take her slow. That's all you can really do.
Definitely.
But so for the special episode, we're gonna do a top 10 NFL power rankings. We're doing a little something different for this bonus episode. Anyone listening, we appreciate it, but we figure this is a good way to be able to catch up on. Well, for me to catch up on Jim and what he thinks of his Lions, because we haven't talked in a bit, and what I think of the Packers. Because I assume you have the Lions in your top 10, so we'll probably touch on them.
Or you don't?
I'm not going to spoil.
Oh, anything. You're just hating now. Yeah, the Lions are on my top 10. Probably higher than what most people would have them, but like I said, there's a reason why.
Well, should we start her off? We're gonna go 10 to 1, and these aren't a cumulative list. We both have our own list, so if you want to go first, we got at number 10.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just this here. I have the Denver Broncos at number 10. My reasonings are, great line play, both offensive and defensive line. Maybe the best defense in the league, but definitely a top 3 defense in definitely elite category. As a continued thing that I've always said on the podcast, I'm a big believer in DVOA. Their DVOA is only 7th. So for me, I kind of agree with that because I don't really believe in. I'm not a believer, we'll say. I don't believe in him. He's just too inconsistent as a quarterback. That's why I put him at 10. The rest of the team around him is great, but the way I like to rank it is like I look at it as like if this was a game and this team played against another team, who wins? That's how I kind of did my rankings at this point. I didn't try to go off record too much, and I just felt like all the teams I had above them would probably win in a playoff setting. But either way, they can take a game off of anybody with a great defense and offense. It's just, can they do it for a whole season in the playoffs? That's when things look a little more dicey, and that's when Bo Nix needs to step up, and I just don't think he's going to.
Yeah, I mean their offense and Bo Nix in particular is that's the crux of that team, and he has really good stretches. He makes really good plays, but he also has a lot of really bad stretches and really bad plays. I kind of look at him like I look at Caleb Williams. I mean, there's talent there. You see things where it's off. It's like, damn, this guy could be good. This guy could be really good. But then you see too many things where it's like, too many weird, stupid decisions and just inaccurate throws too often. And Yeah, but I also have the Broncos in my top 10. I had them a little bit higher. I had them at number 8.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's probably where, if you don't believe in Bo Nix, I think that's where you should have him. Somewhere
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
bottom half of the top 10.
top 10, but not high top 10. I think everyone above them would probably beat them. And some of the teams below them would too, but I think that defense is just, it's a Super Bowl caliber defense they got over there, so you just can't count them out of any game, ever.
Yep.
They could beat anybody on any given Sunday.
Yeah,
My number 10 was, go ahead if you want to talk
I
some
was
more
gonna
Broncos.
say, no, I sorry, that's kind of like half-baked was moving things around, so I was just gonna say I agree.
Yeah, my number 10 was the Ravens. So I got them in my top 10. They haven't looked fantastic. Their offense hasn't looked fantastic. Their defense seems to be getting a little bit better every week. They were terrible to start the season, but they look competent now. Like current status with them, I don't know if they belong at number 10, but we've just seen the Ravens be too good for too long. I've seen Lamar Jackson be dominant for too long, regardless of who his receivers are. With Derrick Henry there, I just couldn't keep him out of my top 10, so I had to put him here because if I can't imagine Lamar Jackson's going to keep up this kind of production. Like he's been way too good for the last 5 years to keep looking like he has been for the last 4 weeks since he came back from injury. So I put him at number 10.
Yeah, I definitely see the logic in that one. I can totally go with it. I'm just a little worried about their offensive line. It's been really bad, and I don't think Jackson is 100% right now. But yeah, if they start getting healthy, which they are, their defense got healthy early in the year. Lamar's got probably like another game or two to be probably back to normal Lamar. And if that's the case, then yeah, I could put him in the top 10. But for me, they were just a little too injured, but I would definitely had them on like the outside looking in. And they're that team, like once they get healthy, they could be in the top 5, right? I mean, we've seen this team for the last couple of years. When Lamar's on, they're one of the most dangerous teams in the league. So I don't think anyone likes seeing them creeping their way back up, especially in the AFC. But yeah, I think it's fair.
You got them on the outside. They're not in
Yeah,
your
I
top
would have.
10. Okay.
I love the Ravens, so I just couldn't do it because of the injuries. I don't know where Lamar is right now. I didn't get to watch him enough. I kind of did some research. I was talking about Lamar earlier with you,
Yeah.
and when I was researching him for that, there's a lot of people that were kind of hating on the offensive line. They were just like, Lamar doesn't look normal, and it's like I had to go off of that because I didn't watch him enough, and it was just too much that concerning to me.
Yeah, and I get all that. And like I even said in my analysis, is part of this is just their pedigree and their history. Like they've been too good for too long for me to not put them in my top 10. They've just been too good for way too long of a time, and they still got the same core, and they got Lamar Jackson. The rest, it can be what it is. He just always will pretty much put a team in top 10 if he's healthy. Which if he doesn't get healthy and he plays like this for the rest of the season, then not so much. But yeah. What do you got for number 9?
Number 9, I got the Josh Allens. That's pretty much the reason why I haven't been 9. As another thing that people that do listen to this podcast, they probably know. I think Josh Allen, when he's on, he's the best player maybe I've ever seen at the quarterback position. I know they've had some up and downs this year, and even they don't even have a crazy good DVOA. I think my DVOA on them was 10. Yeah, so they have 10th in DVOA. So I'm not even going off of one of my favorite metrics to even put them here. I mean, I guess that's kind of where they are, but they just been kind of inconsistent, but they still have a pretty solid defense. I do worry that they can't stop the run, but kind of like what you said of like the Ravens, like it's Josh Allen. I can't keep them out of the top 10. They're healthy, unlike the Ravens, and this is a Super Bowl contender. Maybe we're looking at this in 5 weeks and being like, the Bills are at 9. What the heck? So I still think the Bills are one of the top teams in the league, even though they had a couple down weeks.
So I also have the Bills in my top 10, but I have them at number 6. So I've had a couple guys a little bit higher than you so far. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people that I have on the outside looking in and you have on the inside looking out. And like I said, there's a few at the top where I was okay. This is a hard list to make, but yeah, so I do have the Bills in, but I just got them higher. They're at number 6 for me. But like you said, it's just Josh Allen. they're in the playoffs every year. They're going deep in the playoffs every year. They play good in the playoffs too every year. It's just they run into the Chiefs every year, and that's their undoing.
Yeah.
It's not like they play bad against the Chiefs. The Chiefs just always play a little bit better.
Well, in the regular season, the Bills always win because aren't the
they
Bills
do
like
in the regular
undefeated in the
season.
regular season, and it's like it flips in the postseason. It's
Yep.
just crazy. And I think even like the Chiefs when they played them this year, they lost, and I think the coaches are saying like, yeah, it's just Josh Allen. You always beat
Yep.
us, and I'm just like, why are they even upset? They always beat them in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter.
And yeah, and normally, I mean, most years you're making this, Bills are like number 1 or number 2. They just this year they've had some weird losses. Like when they lost to the Dolphins, weird. They lost to the Texans last Thursday. Weird.
See, the
They did not look
Texans
good in that
are,
game.
another one of those like elite defensive teams, and I will never take an elite defensive team and be like, oh, they lost to that team. Like, when the Packers lost to the Browns, I give you guys a lot of shit, but I'm never gonna like hate on that because great defense can make any game a 7-7 score game, and it just takes one miraculous play on offense, even if you have a terrible offense, to win it. It's kind of what the exactly what happened to the Packers against the Browns. So I can't really hate on for losing to the Texans. And then what was their team? I already forgot who you said the other team was.
I mean, I had the Bills at 6. I didn't mention my number 9 team yet.
No. Who did you say the Bills lost to? Was there a team that they lost to?
Oh, the Dolphins and the Texans.
Oh,
the Dolphins is weird. It's a division game, so
Yep.
that happens. But the Dolphins have not looked good this year, and not on defense or offense, and they smoked the Bills. It was a strange game.
See, and that's like one of those ones that if you lose a bunch of them, that's different. But if it's like a one-off game, I'm okay with losing one of those every now and then. So, yeah, their losses aren't as bad as earlier on. The losses were a little worse, I think, right? They lost to some teams earlier that weren't that great, right?
I think the only other loss they have is New England. Well, they have 4. I don't know who their other one was, but
I think their other one was a bad loss. They have probably 2 bad losses and like 2 okay losses. But I mean,
they've had other games too where like they played the Saints early on, like it was neck and neck all the way till the end, and then I think finally the Bills put the dagger in them. But it's like, damn, it's the Saints, and they're just like kind of competing with you all game.
Yeah, they are struggling. I think the receiving core is not that great. I think they're hoping that Coleman guy was going to take another step, and he didn't. So, like, they don't really have like someone for Josh Allen to really rely on. I think they were kind of relying on that one tight end. I can think of his name right now that they drafted a while back. He's having a pretty good year.
Kincaid.
Yeah, Kincaid. So, like, he's becoming more of like a main target, but like he's been kind of a disappointment until this year. So, like, is he just getting targets because like he's the only one there? That's what it kind of seems like. So, yeah, that's a big weakness for them going into the final stretch of the season. But again, Josh Allen can probably make it work.
Yeah, I mean, much like Lamar, if there's receivers out there, they'll figure something out more often than not. My number 9, I had the 49ers. So I'm guessing you did not have them in your top 10.
No, I don't even consider them, actually. I mean, they're okay. So I guess I should have considered them.
Did you go past top 10 and all? Just curious.
No, I spent
I went all the way down just because I figured you're going to have some people in your top 10. I'm like, I'm curious where I would have them when you bring them up, because there's got to be some based on what I have and what you've said so far. There's going to be a few guys that I definitely have outside, and I'm curious how far I have them outside. But yeah, the Niners, I don't know. They just looked. I don't know how they're doing this. Like, they lost Bosa, they lost Fred Warner. Their defense still looks awesome. That's crazy. That's 2 superstars off of your defense, and you still look so good. Salah, that dude is doing fantastic things with that defense. I don't know how he's doing it. I mean, he should be. I don't know if there's awards for like defensive coordinators into the year, but what he's doing with the defense, that's
assistant of the year.
2 stars. Yeah, okay. He should get something like that, because to lose 2 studs like that and just keep your defense rolling is impressive. I mean, same thing.
That's like the captain of the defense, the guy who literally calls the plays. That's generally when teams' defense starts to like suffer. Is like when you lose that's your quarterback of your defense. So the fact that that really shows that Salah has kind of a tight grip on that defense, and like it kind of runs through him, not necessarily the players. And yeah, it's been really impressive what they've endured this season injury wise, and it's still. But that's why I couldn't put them in top 10. I just too many injuries. But
they keep winning. That's the thing. I'm just like, and they're up against a tough division, and they're competing with them, and it's impressive. And I assume they're going to the playoffs. And yeah, just 2 like Brock Purdy goes down for 3 or 4 weeks. Mac Jones strolls in, fills the shoes just fine. They keep winning. I mean, their wide receivers. Kittle was out for several weeks. They managed to keep passing the
Ayuk's been
ball.
out all year and like
Ayuk's
went
been out
like
and he's off the team now, I think. I
yeah,
mean,
not yet. They just stopped
yeah,
paying him or something.
we
But
we
yeah,
talked about that in the last episode a little bit, so I don't want to harp on it too much. But yeah, I mean that dude's a nutcase.
remember when you
Juan
guys wanted to
Jennings,
take him over Jordan Love? Everyone
who
wanted him.
Ayuk.
You drafted Jordan Love. Everyone wanted Ayuk or one of the receivers.
Oh,
He was
well,
like
at the
one of the
time
ones
we
that
had.
they were supposedly like going after, and then I think he got drafted before they could pick, right?
Yeah, and I mean, who knows what would have happened if Aaron Rodgers had another receiver like that? Then maybe there's an extra Super Bowl in there.
I mean, he is
It's
the
too long ago to
reason
tell.
the Lions didn't make the Super Bowl the other year. Because remember, that was the deflection that he caught. That was basically the like dagger for us. Like we would have probably won that game if it wasn't for that. So you know what? I'm happy he's in turmoil right now. Yeah, he's fine. He's going around buying like golden watches and stuff. They were showing. I'm like, oh, he just lost all his money, and then he's like sitting here buying like a $40,000 watch. So he's
Well, he
doing
lost like all the guaranteed money. Like I'm sure he gets some of the contract regardless, but he lost a lot.
yeah. No, he's gonna lose a lot, but I'm sure he knows he's gonna make it back probably with the next contract. So
Yeah, another team will give him a chance, but they're not going to give him as much after this fiasco. I would think. It's
he's
not like
definitely
he's
gonna.
been.
It's gonna take a hit, but I mean, talent wise, he's still gonna make it.
Yeah,
He's still gonna be like a 20 mil guy.
yeah. I mean, he'll be fine. He ain't going to be begging on the streets or anything. But yeah, he
But
lost a lot. But
nonetheless,
yeah,
it's
that's my
so
number 9.
impressive. Pearsall's out too, and he's been a really good target for
Yeah,
them as
that
well.
too.
Like there's just so much, and they keep doing. But yeah, that's Shanahan, man.
Yeah,
That guy's incredible. He makes the best out of the worst situations.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, as long as Purdy doesn't do what he did on Monday night and just throw 3 picks a
That's
game,
kind of one
which
of my concerns. I think Purdy
that
might
is a
end up getting
concern.
benched, but Jones has looked good, man. Like,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if Purdy's benched by the end of the year and Jones is the starter. I like Jones more, I think, overall, just because he's a little more consistent. Purdy's got that like gunslinger, but he's not super. He's got like a crazy arm. So it's like, yeah, you're a
yeah.
gunslinger, but you don't have like the Stafford, the Josh Allen arms, that like can get away with that stuff. So that's why I think he throws a lot of picks, is that he doesn't have the arm to do what he wants to do. And that concerns me. Josh
I'm
or Jones, he's just like he's gonna just take the first read that's open. He's just gonna be methodical, move down the field. He's not gonna put you in bad situations. I think that fits Shanahan a lot better.
Well, I think and it's weird too for me because I feel like Purdy, like, I mean, what was it? That was 2 years ago where he was like a front runner for MVP most of the season. But that season he wasn't being a gunslinger. I mean, he was kind of just doing the Shanahan offense, taking the design shit, taking the scripted stuff.
Well, it's
And
a
it
lot
seems like
easier
now
when
that he's
everyone's healthy, right?
that's true. That is true. But it's like part of me is like he got that big contract now. He like wants to show that he's good or something, and he's just making some throws now. It's like, dude, just throw it away or just take the check down. Like you don't need to be the hero. I know they're paying you like you're the hero of the team now, but you don't need to try to be doing that.
I wonder what the mental side of that is. Like, you just saw Jones like pretty much outperform you all year.
Mm.
And then you come back and you're like, man, I got to really show that I'm the starter here. Like this guy's on my ass if I play bad. So like, does that play into it? And then you're not
Might.
playing with full confidence. Like you're kind of thinking of the guy behind you, and like I feel like that could really ruin a guy, especially him, because he just got the contract, but he's at that like borderline level where it's like, is he good or is he great? He's probably just good.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, that could play a factor too.
Hmm.
But yeah. 49ers at number 9 for me. What do you got for number 8?
I got the New England Patriots.
Okay.
They have one of the easiest schedules in the league. I do like May a lot, but I don't think there's a lot of other talent on the team. I think they've been taking advantage of a weak schedule. I will go back to DVOA now. So, like, again, that's the statistics. It goes off of kind of like what you do per play, and it's broken down to that. So it makes it a little bit more fair to compare teams. They're 17th in DVOA. So it kind of hints towards like, they've really taken advantage of a weak schedule. They have been impressive. May has been incredible. I think he's the best, maybe the best player from his class. He looks like the best quarterback from his class, unless you really like Jaden Daniels last year and then don't kind of punish him for this year. But for me, Jaden Daniels' biggest concern is he's just too small. I think he's just going to keep getting injured. So for me, May is great. But yeah, they don't have much in the line of receivers. They have an okay defense. They have a decent young running back, but I don't know if he's like a, you know, yeah, they got some good talent. I can definitely see it, but I think they're a team that's going to start, trending the opposite way.
Yeah, I've also got the Patriots in my top 10, but I have them at number 5. So maybe we don't have many. Our top 10 might be pretty similar, actually. We just have a bunch of dudes flip flopped around in here.
I think the
We'll see
10
as we keep going
teams,
up.
there's probably like 10 or 12 teams that I think everyone would probably have in the top 10. But yeah, I think the
Yeah,
biggest surprise so far is you with the Niners. Like, I think that's a team that a lot of people wouldn't put in the top 10.
yeah. I mean, if I go to like 13 is kind of like my cutoff of like these are the good teams. I'm looking at my list right now, and you might have some of these guys in there. My 11, 12, and 13. I would not be surprised. And I was kind of looking at them. I was just like, would I pick this team over any of the teams above them in a
I'd
one-on-one?
be shocked if you don't have any of my other ones in the top 10. I feel like the rest of mine are, well, no, one team. I see one team you could potentially, because I just know how you feel about that team. But yeah, we'll keep that for.
It's yeah. Yeah, my number 8 was the Broncos. I mean, we already talked about them.
Yep.
You had them at number 10. I had them at number 8. So don't need much comment there. But yeah, the Patriots look good. We kind of talked about this on the last podcast too, with the Patriots and their easy schedule. I mean, I was kind of he was the Patriots fan, always has been. So he was kind of boasting about them. And I brought up, it's like, dude, they have. I couldn't remember which was which, but the Patriots and the Bears had the 2 easiest strength of schedules so far this season, and they both looked really good. But I was like, and I put the Patriots in. The Bears are not in my top 10, in case anyone's wondering. But the Patriots have actually dominated a lot of games. The Bears, they're not in because they've like squeaked by in all these games, and it's like fluky stuff at the end of the game that seems to get them a win. And the win's the win, as I always say. But the Patriots have actually they've looked better with their easier schedule, and that's why I have them all the way at number 5. They've looked very good. Like their offense is
10-2. Like they have like the best record in their
Yeah.
conference. So I mean, like that. I'm probably going to be on the outside with this take. Being 8. I think most people probably have him in the top 5.
What you got for number 7?
Yeah, for 7, I have your favorite team. I have the Packers.
That's
I
funny.
have defense is legit. I think Love is legit. I don't know if he's great. I think he's better than Purdy, who we just talked about. But I think he's better than I expected. The Kraft injury, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't like the receivers. I know Watson, right? Watson's back. He's the guy that might be kind of like a number 1, number 2 for you, but I just don't. I don't know. That's what worries me about the Packers. Their offense line's been pretty banged up this year. So the offense does seem to get stuck in the mud at times, and they kind of rely heavily on that defense. Yeah, I don't know if I can go higher than 7 just because the offense just seems to kind of keep sputtering out at times. But, when they're on, again, when Love is on, like some of those deep balls are some of the best looking deep balls in the league, those corner of the end zone touchdowns, the sideline stuff. I mean, that's like Rodgers-esque sometimes. So he can get hot, and we've seen it, but I just think there's too much going wrong around him, and the depth is being tested on the offense. But with that said, that defense is legit. Parsons is probably not a chance at defense player of the year, but that's not his fault. He's still playing probably on that level, but there's just someone who's playing like a god on
Yeah.
Browns. So yeah, I put him at 7. What do you think?
Yeah, they're obviously in my top 10 as well. I put them at number 4. But I'll mirror most of what you said. The defense is, it's super caliber defense. They play great. Parsons has been awesome. We kind of talked about it last episode. Me and he was there for a bit, but if it weren't for Myles Garrett just having an all-time great season, like Parsons would be in talks for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He's got 10 sacks. Only him and Reggie White have had 10 sacks in their first 5 seasons. That's fantastic. I believe Parsons leads the NFL in quarterback pressures. So even when he isn't getting home, he's getting close and getting the quarterback panicking quite often. And he also leads the league in double and triple teams. Like, they do not leave that guy alone. They do not let him come through single-handedly.
I wonder if that's slightly. I know that's a big talk with him, and the one thing I don't like about that stat, and I don't mean just to be a hater, but the way he plays and the way he moves, and the same thing he did with Dallas, he does get extra attention because he moves a lot. I think it's different when you're like a down lineman like Hutchinson, for example, because they're going to take a guard and a tackle with him. Whereas like Parsons, being that he plays a lot of linebacker, he gets chipped by the tight end,
Sure.
gets the tackle. So that stat to me is a little overblown. I know that's a big stat that people like to talk with Parsons, but that goes back to his Dallas days. I've always kind of hated on that one a little bit, but that doesn't stop him being a great player. Like you said, if it wasn't for Garrett, he would be in the conversation. But with Garrett being the best player on planet Earth right now in football, there's just he's definitely a step below that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. That makes sense. When you're going up the middle, you just automatically get double teamed, whether they're actually double teaming you or not. The stat still counts if two guys touch you. So, I mean, even take that away though, still leading the league in quarterback pressures is good, and that's what he's there for, to pressure the quarterback, hopefully get the sack, and he's getting a pretty good amount of them. And also, like, a lot of his big plays are at big moments in these games. We kind of touched on it yesterday again, but it's the end of the game. Against the Giants, he comes through, gets a huge sack to end the drive. He gets a strip sack to just straight up end the game. Last week again, his sacks came in the fourth quarter. Just big time, like, let's put this to bed and get the fuck out of here and go home. Big time players.
That's what makes him elite pass rusher. Yep. It's one thing to just like get sacks throughout the game. The elite guys, the guys that actually deserve their paychecks, or at least deserve to be paid at the top of their position, are the guys in the moment that make the plays. That is definitely what Parsons is. That's why the Packers traded for him. The Lions had the same thing with Hutchinson. We were against the Giants. We almost lost. And what happened? The big fourth down play came up. Who made the play? Hutch. That's the same thing Parsons. I mean, there's been multiple times I watched the Packers this year where, that same situation came up, and who was the one making the play? I mean, Gary gets a lot of sacks too because of, Parsons might flush him out, but Gary's not the one always making the big play in the big moment. He's normally the guy picking up the sacks throughout the, earlier part of the game. Parsons is the one that comes through and wrecks the game at the end. He's elite. He's elite pass rusher. The things I hate about him and are still kind of there with the defense, but like when it comes to pass rushing, I mean, he's not Garrett, but no one's Garrett. He's definitely in the conversation for number 2 in the league.
Yeah, and Packers offense on the flip side, I mean, going to your DVOA thing, I think they have Jordan Love ranked as the number 3 quarterback on the year. Like, I don't think he's bad, but I think we do have a problem with our pass catchers. They have not been great. Losing Kraft was huge. I mean, I think we were kind of not even slowly, we kind of made him the focal point of our passing offense, and he's gone, which really sucks. Getting Christian Watson back helped a lot because he's kind of been the guy who stepped up the most since then. Dobbs is what he is. Wicks is what he is. Jaden Reed coming back is really what we need right now, because I think he's the only other guy that's kind of like good after the catch. He can catch the ball and do something with it. Unlike, I mean, even Christian Watson, he's great, but usually he's fast, he's big, he can jump very high. Like, he can get those back of the corner end zone throws. He can get the deep balls. He can go over a guy and get it, but there's not a lot of yards after the catch with him. That's not really his. That's not his role on the team.
Well, plus Reed also gives Love that kind of like security blanket for short yardage stuff now that he doesn't have that in Kraft. So even though he doesn't like play the same role as Kraft, he can kind of impact the game in a similar area of the field. And that is something I think you guys are missing a little bit without Kraft. At least not someone, I'm sure you guys have guys that can do it, but not someone that can break the game open from that position or like in that part of the field right now, where Jaden Reed can take, a 5-yard slant, make a big play out of it, things like that. He's like also one of those guys that's like a scheming nightmare for defenses, because he can kind of be moved around and, be that mismatch guy, which is what LaFleur was using Kraft for earlier in the year. Yep. There's a lot of movement, and I think Reed could be that. Honestly, I think Reed might be even better without Kraft than with Kraft, because I think they might, even though, again, they're not playing the same position, they kind of operate in the same part of the field, and that could be a situation where he has a pretty solid end of the season for you guys.
Yeah, and he should be back soon. He won't be back this Thursday, but soon, which is good.
I think originally they said like the Lions game was kind of like the target point to be like the first game he could come back, so I'd have to imagine like a game or two he'll be around.
They took him off IR last week, so designated return, so he had like 3 weeks after that, but it doesn't sound like this short week he's coming back, so unfortunate for this week against the Lions, but he'll still be back. Yeah, my number 7, I had the Lions. So we had a little switcheroo there. You got the Packers.
It's almost an
Little
exact.
a little underrated from where I had them, and I got the Lions. Probably a little underrated from where you have them, I would presume.
Well, number 1, obviously.
But yeah, Lions, and this is one of the main reasons I want to talk to you today. I'm curious how you feel about the Lions, because I think last time we really talked Lions with you, your opinion was the Lions were the best team in the NFL. Jared Goff was the current MVP. And we might have done a podcast or two since then, but I don't know if we really touched just
It's at least been 2 weeks since last time we talked about that. Yeah, it's been a while.
I don't know if we've just specifically talked Lions and what you think of them, because I do think they're good. I mean, I got them at number 7, and I do think they're good still. I don't think they're a bad team by any means. Their offense, when it gets clicking, they can beat anybody. But I've just seen too many games this year now where it's not clicking, and it mostly comes down to shut down Jahmyr Gibbs in the run game, and the rest just goes easy for the other team. And every game they've lost, that's exactly what happened. And it started week 1 with the Packers. It's kind of, and I know you'll have something to say on this, but their interior O-line, the interior of their O-line has been terrible, and teams that can abuse that, it kind of just beat up on the Lions this year.
Yeah, I mean that's been the weakness. That's been the Achilles heel, and the Packers proved that week 1, right? And that was my worry going into that game. I was obviously confident because Lions are a great team, but I did worry about the Parsons effect being like we didn't even know he was on the team until like a couple days for that game, and then like the fact that our offensive line was just kind of gutted from the interior. We still had our tackles, but basically what happened for people who don't know is the Lions had 2 different starting guards and a different starting center last year. They had one guard that they basically lost to free agency, which is fine. And the other guard was actually their guy who's playing center now. So we kind of lost 2 guards because what happened is Frank Ragnow, our center, retired not shortly for the start, or it was a little bit before the season started. And it was I think it blindsided the whole team. So that actually really hurt the team, as in they had to then move Glasgow from guard to center, weaken their guard spot, and then they lost maybe the best center in the league, but we'll just say top 3. I think that's pretty safe to say. Ragnow's been one of the best players in the league at his position for a couple years now. So yeah, we lost 2 starters and we downgraded 2 positions quite basically immediately because of Frank Ragnow retiring. And then we had a pretty solid guard rookie who's been okay. So yeah, that was a big deal. But that's been our Achilles heel all season. Like I said, teams that can attack that. The Vikings, who haven't really been that good this year, how did they beat us? They attacked the middle of our defense, and we had to adjust the next game to not have that happen again. So it seems like every couple games that weakness shows its ugly head. But yeah, that is definitely the difference in lines. If they had the offensive line they had last year, they probably are undefeated at this point, because I don't think anyone really blew us out. A lot of the games were kind of like, geez, if we could just get that, one play, or the things that we were doing last year, we weren't doing. So that definitely hurts a little bit. It made me feel a little down, but then we had changed offensive coordinators. That was a big deal. I think having Campbell back as the offensive coordinator made it kind of seem like they're doing a lot more of the stuff they were doing last year. And they were starting to use Williams different than they were earlier in the season. They were starting using more on runarounds. They're starting using more on slants, and not just try to throw to him deep every play. A lot of teams were starting to realize, take out the deep play from Williams and the pressure up the middle, and they couldn't do anything. So I think that's going to help. So long story short, Frank Ragnow is back, who's that elite center, and I probably am going to upgrade the Lions, with that mindset than I probably would have had him if he didn't come back. That's a big deal. So I personally have the Lions at 3. I still think talent-wise, there's not many teams that beat us in talent. I honestly, you're putting the Packers ahead of them. I don't think the Packers come close to us in talent across, like, from the 53-man roster. I think there might be only one other team more talent than the Lions, and that's the Eagles. Like, just like talent doesn't mean you're the best team that year, but just like actual talent on the team, they just have so much. And Jahmyr Gibbs has averaged 8.2 yards per carry over like the last 5 games. 8.2. This guy is maybe
floated by a 70-yard run at the end of.
But that's what he does every game.
Well, not every game.
game's a
Every game you
50-yard touch.
lose, he doesn't do that.
Every
That's
game over the last like 4 weeks, he's had like a 50-yard run. He has been incredible.
against the Eagles, against the Vikings. Did he do it? That's my point. Is like when you guys lose is when he doesn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah, because that's what you have to stop. You have to stop the running game.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's my question to you is, I mean, the Lions have had these games now. It's like you squeak one out against the Giants, you lose to JJ McCarthy and the Vikings. The Eagles.
You guys squeaked one out against the Giants. That what's up with
we
that?
won. It was what was it? It was
You're
like
gonna put the
20-something to
Packers ahead,
6.
and they had the same loss. You guys barely won.
Oh,
that
the
game,
Giants.
wasn't
The Giants. Yeah. Well, we didn't go to overtime. I mean, there's that at least.
You also didn't have
we weren't losing.
Catch a freaking like 30-yard touchdown and like juke out your defender for a touchdown.
Well, yeah, it's because we wouldn't allow that. But I mean, we also didn't. We weren't losing the entire 60 minutes of regulation, losing or tied. Like we were ahead most of that game.
So the games that they lost, he hasn't performed well. You're right, and that's because the games that we lost, teams have been able to shut down the running game, and that shuts it down. But okay, look at this. 15 carries, 219 yards, 14.6 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 11 receptions. The only other player who's done that in NFL history was LaDainian Tomlinson. Next game, Eagles.
I'm not arguing that Jahmyr Gibbs isn't great.
Well, I'm just saying,
he's fantastic.
When it's working though, like 9.5 yards per carry, 8 point yards. Like I think it's like his last 6 games, he's averaging 8.2 yards per carry. I don't know if a player's ever done that as a running back in 6 games. So obviously, I'm trying to defend my player, but he's been incredible. He literally has put the team on his back a couple games. So again, it just comes down to talent overall.
On Sunday, he put the team on his back. Yeah, I mean, without him, you guys lose for sure. I mean, it was literally the overtime play. One play handed to Jahmyr Gibbs and he houses it. It's like, all right, that's the game.
Yep. Yeah,
he won the game single-handedly there.
So out of his last 5 games, he has the 2 duds, the Vikings and the Eagles, and then he has 136 yards for 8 yards carried, 2 touchdowns against the Bucks, 142 yards, 9.5 yards carried, 2 touchdowns against the Commanders, and then 219 yards, 14.6 yards carried, 2 touchdowns against the Giants. I did not think this going into the season, but Jahmyr Gibbs might be the best running back in the league, and I think he might be one of the top 10 players in the league. Like the last couple games and what he's been doing, yes, he didn't get touched on one of those runs, but he is one of the best speed backs I've ever seen when it comes to actually just putting his shoulder down and breaking tackles. He is potentially the most agile running back in the league, and he's definitely the fastest. And he's an incredible receiver too. It's just that alone helps, push the lines up for me because of what he has done the last couple of weeks. And if you can get the offensive line going, who stops that? If like the Lions offensive line can get back to what they were last year with Frank Ragnow, and we can get, Montgomery going, because that's been the big thing. Look at Montgomery's stats.
He's done nothing.
He's been kind of hot and cold. Mostly cold though. But yeah, I just think if they can really push that offensive line up, which I think Frank Ragnow is going to do, like I said, that kind of moves them up a little bit. I might have had the Lions at 5 or 6 or something if it wasn't for Frank Ragnow coming back. But again, the weakness of the team was our interior offensive line, and we just added arguably the best center in the league back to our team. I don't know how you can't say that's a huge deal.
You'll have to see how he plays. He hasn't played football in a while.
Well, I mean, of what, 6? I mean, a season. But honestly, I think it might be better for him because Frank Ragnow's issue is that he has a chronic foot injury, and I think he might be healthy. And a lot of times these offensive linemen are all banged up at this time of year. So if he has been getting ready for being in game shape, then I'm not really worried about the play. I think it's mostly just he has to be game shape. So
that's fair.
I'm very, very high on the Frank Ragnow return. That, like I said, I probably would have had him at 6-5 if it wasn't for that. I think Frank Ragnow is a huge deal. He's not as important as Penei Sewell, but he's pretty damn close.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're both high on the lines. I mean, I have him at 7. You have him at 3. You said
3. Yeah,
3. Okay. Like I said, I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm just saying certain teams seem to have the, and maybe Ragnow will change this, but certain teams seem to have the personnel to abuse the interior O-line, and when they do that, that's when you guys suffer. And I think.
Yep.
When you run the playoff teams,
do that now this week.
I think when you run a
chance of losing because of that.
Yeah, like the playoff caliber defenses are going to have the personnel to do that kind of thing. Like the Eagles have it, the Packers have it, the Vikings, I guess, have it. I mean, they just have really good.
But that's
defensive
the thing.
coordinator
That
screws
is no
shit up.
longer a weakness of Ragnow because you take Ragnow, you put him at center, you put Glasgow back at left guard. That's what we had last year. Glasgow's a better guard than he is center. And then our right guard has
Mhm.
actually been really good as a rookie. There are some people that think he's going to be like one of those guys that gets like a record-setting contract in a couple of years. Like he's played
Yeah.
that well. So it's not been our right guard. It's been our center and our left guard that really have hurt the
Yeah.
team. And you're basically upgrading both in one move. It's a huge deal. But like you said, if Ragnow can't get back to what he was last year, it's not as big deal as I think it is.
Yeah. And I mean, you had the Packers at 7. I'll just say it for the Packers. I mean, we had the exact same thing happen to our O-line. Like, we took a good guard in Jenkins, moved him to center, because I can't remember who, but he left in free agency. Not like our center was fantastic or anything, but Jenkins was not a good center. That was a terrible decision by management. That this whole thing did not work out. He got hurt, so I can't remember who we have playing center now. But honestly, I mean, I know it was the Vikings last week, but the line looked better. Like honestly, we were running the ball very effectively for the first time all season with the new line setup. So
Yeah.
I have some hopes that our center Jenkins getting injured was like a blessing in disguise because we had to switch our lineup. We had to put a new guy at center. Aaron Banks has looked a little bit better throughout the season. I mean, he keeps getting a little bit better. Zach Tom's a good tackle, but
There's a lot of
that,
communication. So when you move things like that, if that person's not used to that and the communication goes, you got to realize Frank Ragnall's been on this team for a long time in this offense for like 5 years. Like he's going to be more understanding of the calls and stuff than Glasgow. Glasgow only came back last year. He's only been in the offense for a couple of years. So like, yeah, the communication is going to improve. You know, the talent's probably going to improve. It might not show itself, you know, this week, or obviously he's not gonna play this week, but it might not show itself the first couple weeks. But by the time the playoffs come, that's when I wish we'd played the Packers at the end of the season, to be honest, to kind of see like maybe what this Frank Ragnow difference is. But maybe this is a good example because we'll probably see if it is still a huge weakness and the Packers take advantage of it, and Frank Ragnow comes back next week against the Cowboys and everything changes. I think it's going to be a pretty telling sign.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, I think teams need the right personnel to actually abuse it. I don't know if the Cowboys
do.
That.
They just got one of the best defense tackles in the league, and they still have
got the Packers. He is pretty good.
That's probably the one team that has that for not a good defense. Like they have the middle of the defense.
That's true. You're right. All right. So 7 we had Lions. You had Packers. What do you got for number 6?
I think this is a team that you don't have in the top 10 just because I know how you feel about them, but I have the Chiefs.
I have them at number 11. I have them at 11. I had them one out.
That's why I stopped talking. As soon as I looked down, I'm like, I think we're going to have. I'm like, nope, that's the one team you're not going to have in your top 10.
Okay.
So, top 3 defense, Patrick Mahomes, 5th in DVOA. It's that simple for me. Patrick Mahomes, they have an elite defense. And Rice is back. So they're that team that always seems to struggle in the middle of the season, but once it starts getting later in the year, they start putting it all together. I can't take and look at, a team like the Patriots and think in the playoffs they're going to beat the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs are better. I think, all the teams I have below them, if I look at those games, I think the Chiefs have a pretty good matchup against all of them. I think Mahomes is still Mahomes. He's had one of the better seasons he's had in a while. This is a team that we got to be scared of again for another season. They could still win a Super Bowl. They got the talent.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't put them in because they're not. I get it. Like, if they're in the playoffs, no one wants to play them. They might go all the way to the Super Bowl again. They'd probably be the favorites to go to the Super Bowl if they make the playoffs. I mean, they're probably one of the top 5 picks right now, but there's the chance they don't even go to the playoffs currently. Like, they don't have room for error anymore. If they lose 2 games in the rest, like, that might be it for them. Like, they really need to win pretty much most of the rest of their games to even get to the playoffs at this point because they're not winning the division.
Like 6-5. 6-5.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 7 teams.
But you
now.
probably got to get to 11
like
wins.
9-7 team, or no, it's like 9-8. So they got to be at least 10-7.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean,
2 losses. Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose 3 games for the rest of the year.
But the problem is they don't have the tiebreaker on a lot of the teams that you'd probably want a tiebreaker against if they get to like the wild card situation. Like they lost to the Jags, they lost to the Chargers.
That is true.
Who else? They lost to somebody else weird. So it's like if they're tied with one of these teams, they go.
Do they
Chiefs
play the
stay
Chargers
home.
again? Did the Chargers beat them twice?
They will play the Chargers again, but the Chargers
get wiped out.
Yeah, that could get wiped out. But the Chargers might wind up with a better divisional record, anyways, which would be the next thing. Which again could bounce the Chiefs from that. So
I just can't see him losing more than 2 more games for the rest of the season, and I really
yeah,
think 10
I
and 7,
agree.
they're still in. I mean, yes, I could see, like, that weird situation where, like, them and the Jaguars are like that, on the cusp team, and then, like, the Jaguars knock them out. I could definitely see that, but I still would put a lot of money on the Chiefs making the playoffs.
Yeah. So yeah, what are we on? Number 6?
That was 6,
5.
yeah.
That was 6.
You
Okay.
want
I
me to
mean,
go
I
on
had
to
the
5?
Bills. We already talked about the Bills. I mean, other than that, I mean, the Chiefs, I don't know. They just haven't looked fantastic this year. You never count them out. I mean, this last week, I thought the Colts should have beat them. The Colts let them get away with one there, in my
They
opinion.
did, but that's how
Like,
they won last year, and, like, they
that's
did the
true.
same thing
That's
last year all
true.
the way to the Super Bowl, and it was just
Yeah.
like everyone kept saying the same stuff last year, and it was like, but they're still the Chiefs and they're still Pat Mahomes, and they
Yeah.
still get favored calls in the playoffs
Yeah.
in the
It's like you
holidays.
never want to count them out. That's why I had them at number 11. I was like, they're not a top 10 team right now. But yes, if the playoffs happen today and the Chiefs are in it, you just assume they're probably going deep, if not to the Super Bowl, because they always do. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about the Chiefs. My number
All right,
6 was the Bills, and we already discussed them. So
let's go into my 5 then, and then
yeah,
we'll see where this team lies for you. I have the Eagles. I have them as a top 1-2 in talent. We know the team is just stacked. Like I said, the
yep,
Lions and them, in my opinion, are the 2 most talented teams in the league. But their offense is stuck in neutral. Their offense coordinator has been a letdown, kind of like the Lions did, but the Lions made the move and the Eagles haven't. So can the Eagles get it going? And if they do, they're going to be back to being maybe the number 1 team on this list. But they only have a 30-point differential in the season. So they're not like blowing out teams. They're really
mhm,
relying on the defense, which has been
great.
great this year. And the reason I'm at 5 is, the offense has been really bad. It still the talent's there and they could still put it together and they're still winning without that offense doing much. So again, the offense clicks. This is the number 1 team in the league again. So I'm gonna put them at 5 just because the offense and Hurts has been a little off, but they're still incredible.
Yeah, I agree with most everything you said. Not too much to add. I mean, they haven't looked great this year. I have them at number 3, by the way, so I'm 2 spots higher than you. It's just I know their point differential isn't huge, and they haven't looked. They really haven't looked great this year. But I look at like who they played, and I'm like, these guys just beat all the contenders, all the top
Yeah.
contenders. They have that notch on their belt. They beat the Lions, they beat the Packers, they beat the Rams, they beat the Chiefs. Like all the top contenders, like we beat them, we beat them, we beat them, we beat them.
The
They're
one
just beating
reason why
everybody.
I didn't have I probably would have had them and the Lions flipped because they beat the Lions. But the one reason why I did not give them that win is or the flip because the one argument I will make about the Lions game, that was a Dan Campbell masterclass on how to lose a game, and he does that like once a year. There's a game where that guy just goes too crazy for anybody's good. And that Eagle game was it. If he just did not be crazy for that game, the Lions would have won that game. It was just too many 4th downs. He just didn't. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. I mean, yes, you can always say, well, then the Eagles would have done something different. But like most of those situations were like, okay, they would just punt the ball. If the Eagles still just go 3-and-out, they're still 3-and-out, just further down the field, and then the Lions have better field position. That is the one weakness of Dan Campbell's game. There is, and I think that is the one thing that does scare me about him calling plays is that he doesn't get to focus on the game as much. And I think this is a game that
Mm,
kind of proved that he's too much focused on playing calling now, and he might not be as focused on like what's the best situation because again, he is very aggressive. So if he doesn't have like the ability to kind of second guess something and use some critical thinking with his decision making, I think that hurts him a little bit. So that is a little bit of a concern with me, but I still think the Lions talent wise were better or they were the better team on the field for most of that game. It was just kind of like Dan Campbell just doing Dan Campbell stuff. I don't know.
yeah,
But maybe I'm wrong there, but yeah, just wanted to put that out there.
yeah. I mean, I probably would have had them. I had them at 3. I might have put them at 1 or 2 even if they hadn't lost this last week to the Cowboys. 'Cause that was an embarrassing one. I mean, you're up 21-0 with like 3 minutes left in this first half, and then
Yeah, but that
you
that
do
Cowboys
nothing the
team
rest
can
of
do
the
that to
game.
anybody with that offense, man.
They
Like,
can, they can, but I get that. But it's like score 1 fucking point in the second half of the game, and you would have
that's that
won
offense.
or tied at least. But they didn't
Yep,
do anything,
the
and they
offense is
let
a
it get away
problem.
from them. But yeah, just it's basically what I said. It's just they haven't looked great, but I look at who they played, and I'm just like, man, they're the champs, so you have a hard schedule. But I mean, that's a hard schedule. They played against all the top contenders and they beat all of them. So you have to put them pretty high. So that's why I'm 3 instead of 5. My 5 was the Patriots. So we already talked about the Patriots, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Who you got for number 4?
I have. Hold on, I was talking to my trade.
Oh,
The
okay.
Colts. So yeah, we'll announce that one on the podcast.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the Colts. Lead offense, great, but not elite defense. Elite running back. Biggest concern for me, Danny Dimes. I think he's been pretty good this season. I don't want to say great, but definitely better than pretty much anything that you could find in free agency that we've seen in years. You know, I mean, he's maybe since Kirk Cousins. So he's a kind of more of like a game manager right now, but he has shown enough to like help them get over the hump in some games, make some big plays. He still kind of relies heavily on just, the talent around him, but he's played good enough. And again, the team around is really good. Adding Sauce Gardner to the defense, but then as soon as they added Sauce Gardner, they lost their DeForest Buckner, and that's maybe just a neutral move. But if they would have kept DeForest Buckner, I might have put them up a little higher too, because DeForest Buckner, even though he doesn't get like the credit, he is probably one of the better defensive players in the league. So that is a little bit of concern. But they've been so good. Yeah, they kind of lost it against the Chiefs, and they had that other win earlier in the year where that was it Adonai Mitchell or whatever, like just dropped the ball and they lost that game. So they could even have 2 more wins this year. So if that's the case, they're maybe number 1 on this list just because they won them. But great team. Probably the biggest surprise we've seen in a long time in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, we got a. This is a pretty major one because I do not have them in my top 10. I have them at number 12.
Why?
Mainly because of the loss last week. Just that's bad. Number 1's bad coaching. Like that's a terrible fuck up to not be giving Jonathan Taylor the ball in the second half with an 11-point lead. You put it on Danny Dimes and he did not deliver at all. I mean, that was just a terrible second half of the game. So any other team, like, I just don't understand it. Like, why would you let a team take away John Taylor from you? Just don't let them. You got the lead. It's the second half. Give him the goddamn ball.
I mean, he's been dominant all year and only had 58 yards and 16 carries. I mean, he wasn't.
That's because they weren't. They just weren't even trying in the second half to give him the ball. Like he had like 4 carries in the second half. It was an embarrassment.
So and one mistake, I can't forgive it. Taking like one of the top record teams in the league and just dropping him over the top 10. That's aggressive, man. That's aggressive.
Well, I was never nearly as high on them as most people were in the first place. So
yeah,
I'm not saying I dropped them from 2 to 12. I'm dropping them from like 9 to 12 because I probably would have had them near the bottom of the top 10 before that.
All right, that's crazy.
I mean, they've been good. They've been very good, but I don't know. Daniel Jones this was the game. It's like, hey, Chiefs was like, try to beat us, Daniel Jones.
If they win the game where Donnie Mitchell just doesn't drop the football on the goal line or on the 1-yard line, I mean, they're 8-2. I mean, that's just one player doing something really stupid that cost them the game. Like the team won the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but there's other good record teams where I mean, there's the Patriots. I have them. I mean, they're in my top 5, I guess. There's the Bears. They have a great record. They're not in my top 10. It's not all record.
They have 3 losses, right?
The Bears.
I just think they look pretty impressive, and they have the record at almost all year. I mean, they've been a very impressive team, in my opinion. I'm actually very shocked to see anyone not rank them top 10.
I mean, I was shocked when you had them there. I guess maybe because there's got to be some sort of switcheroo going on in these top few picks we have here now because of that. But
yeah,
yeah, I still think they're good. I think that exposed something on them, and it's.
Well, and to be fair, this is probably the most competitive league we've seen in a while. There isn't. We're going to have probably the same team number 1, but 3 weeks ago they weren't number 1. They might have been top. They might have been like bottom of the top 10. Yeah. This has been a really crazy year, and there's a lot of parity right now in the league, and it's actually a really good thing for the league.
Interesting. So what was that? That was your number 4?
Yep. So I had Lions at 3. So who's your 3?
Mine was the
Packers?
Eagles. No,
Oh,
my,
the
my
Eagles.
4 my
Packers
4
are
was the
4?
Packers, and my 3
Okay.
was the Eagles. So we've
So we
already
have the same
discussed
1
both
and
of
2.
them.
And I'm pretty sure we have them in the
We
same
must,
order.
right? We must. I
Seattle
mean, the Colts.
2
Yeah, I got Seattle too. Okay.
and the Rams 1. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we were pretty close in these lists, honestly.
Yeah,
We
a
only
lot
had 2
closer. I think
teams
the
that were
Colts are
the
the real
same
big
top 10.
outlier.
Colts and the Chiefs.
I wouldn't even say the Chiefs are outlier just because like I can feel your argument. I don't agree with the Colts one. That's the
Who
only
did
one
I
that
have?
to me seems crazy.
So who did I have in that you didn't?
Ravens.
Just the 49ers and Ravens?
Oh yeah, you had the Niners. Okay, the
So by
Niners
9
are.
and 10, you didn't have in the top.
You think
10.
the Niners are a better team than the Colts this year? See, I can't.
Yeah, I guess when you say it like that, maybe I could have the Colts at
I would take
9.
maybe
Because
swap
honestly,
out
yeah, now that you say
Colts
that,
and Niners.
if the Colts played the Niners today,
You would
I'd
favor
probably
the
pick the
Colts.
Colts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I could
That's
see
your
that being in
outlier. The
top
Niners
10.
are probably a little too high rated for you, I think.
It could be. But yeah, there's a lot of parity in the league. But yeah, number 2, Seahawks. We both have Seahawks. I mean,
incredible
great.
defense. The Vikings are kicking themselves right now because Darnold looks legit. I mean, he has a lot of turnovers, but
unless he plays the Rams. If you play in the Rams, put in the backup, I guess. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, he's been good in JSN, man. He might set the record for yards. He's been incredible. I thought it when I saw it week 3. I was trying to get him from Jackie. And I should have gave a 3rd rounder back then, but I didn't want to trade picks. But I was legitimately going to offer a 3rd when she was like pretty much going to say yes. I was like, oh, I should do it. But at that time, I didn't realize that Jefferson was going to be awful half the year.
Wow.
So if I would have known that,
JJ McCarthy was going to be that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, funny thing about JJ McCarthy, I know we're getting off track here, but that's, status quo for us. But he is now, I can't remember what stat it was. I wish I would have copied this so I would have it for the podcast. I say it correctly, but we'll just say this. He is now only one quarterback, big passer rating wise or something like that, has been worse than him at this point in their careers. And the number 1 person is Jamarcus Russell. And he's like basically fighting with Jamarcus Russell to be the worst quarterback statistically we've ever seen.
It's like 847 eligible people on this list.
Yeah. And do you understand how bad Jamarcus Russell was? The guy didn't even watch or read. He didn't watch like plays and stuff. He basically said he didn't even try. So he's almost as bad as a guy who's came out and admitted he didn't try in the NFL and he was drinking lean all the time and he got like up to 300 pounds. He's barely better than that guy. I really wanted McCarthy to be good, but I mean, this experiment's over and they made a huge mistake by letting go Darnold, which sucks because you know how much I like their coaching staff, but they might end up losing their coaching staff over this, but they'll get another year. But yeah, I mean, the Seahawks still took advantage of that. Darnold's been great. I didn't know if I loved it at the time, but now seeing everything come together with that team, it's been impressive. Like the way they built over the last couple years. That defense is so fun to watch. I think they're my favorite defense to watch in the league. They're so good. There's no weakness on that defense, and I think everyone should be scared to play against them come playoffs. They could. I mean, with JSN the way he's been playing, like you can't. The offense is just going to keep humming. If their running game starts picking up, which it's really starting to look like Walker is starting to put some good games together now. And you guys know how I felt about him. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Seahawks are number 1 team by the end of the year. They're incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, outside of Sam Darnold's, 2 weeks ago when he played the Rams, he's just been
and they still almost won that game.
Season.
4 picks, and they still won against the team that we have both listed number 1. Yeah. So if you're going to lose to any team,
because their defense.
Picks, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is so fucking good. They kept them in it the entire time. That's it.
Oh, the person behind us waving too. The person who won't trade me JSN.
He wants to trade for JSN.
It's okay. I won't have
his picks might be off the table. Yeah, his picks might be off the table in the very near future. But yeah, I also had the Seahawks at 2. I mean, they've been awesome this year. Like you said, your quarterback throws 4 picks and your defense is good enough to like keep you in that game till the very end. That's an elite defense.
Against the MVP of the league right now.
Yeah,
Too.
and
I mean,
against
Stafford's been the
literally the
MVP
most
at this
banging
point.
offense in the NFL currently. I mean, the Rams have been fantastic. Should we just jump into our number 1 pick? I mean, I don't have much more to say on the Seahawks. They've been great everywhere.
I mean, really, all I want to say is that screw everyone that argued with me about Stafford over the years that told me he wasn't as good as he was, and he's now won an MVP, or he's now won a Super Bowl, and he's going to win an MVP this year, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame. And I remember arguing to the death back in the day that the Lions team just sucked around him, and Stafford was really good and maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I'm glad he's finally proving it every year now since he left the Lions. It sucks. It's bittersweet, but he's still one of my favorite players of all time. This year, he's been absolutely lethal. I mean, they have one of the best receiving cores we've ever probably seen together. Like, these are probably 2 Hall of Famers with a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah, they're a little bit older, but it doesn't matter. Even Adams came out and said this year that this is the most fun he's had playing football his whole entire life. That's pretty crazy. You know, those Packer teams were pretty good, but this team, like, there's just something about them. The defense is young, but they're just playing such great team defense. It's not just like individual elite play out of some players. Like, that's kind of how the Lions have been playing this year with defense, which has been kind of hit and miss a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, they're a cohesive unit, just like the Seahawks. They just play so well together. And those are the defenses that I really worry about, because like, they don't have weaknesses. You know, like, I can see ways to attack the Packers. I can see ways to attack the Lions. I can see ways to attack the Colts defense. I don't see a way to attack the Rams. I don't see a way to attack the Seahawks consistently. They're just too well rounded, and they still have the offense to go with it. So yeah, Stafford MVP. Hopefully, if the Lions don't win, he gets to win another, and then he can go down as having more accolades than Rodgers by the end of his career. I'm good with that.
Well, he won't get more.
He won't have MVPs. He'll have more MVPs, but he'll have 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And I bet you the conversation of Stafford being a top 10 all time is going to happen if that is the case. He wins MVP and wins the Super Bowl this year. You can't keep him all the top 10 of all time.
No, I mean, Stafford, he's been, I mean, that's my number 1 ranked team too, obviously. It's hard to rank anybody else there right now. They've just been fantastic. I mean, beating the Seahawks, that's a huge statement win. They did lose to the Eagles early in the year. If they played today, I would definitely put my money on the Rams to win that game. Yeah. Puka's been awesome. Devontae Adams, what a resurgence from him. He's just looked fantastic. And Stafford, I mean, goddamn. There was some stat he has, like, I can't remember, 20 touchdowns without an interception now or something stupid like that. Like, he's just been playing elite.
27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's the best season of his career. He's 37 years old. He's playing the best season of his career, and everyone was complaining about he had a back injury coming into the season. He might not play.
That was my worry about drafting Puka this year. Is like, I don't know if Stafford's going to play. I mean, there's a lot of media attention on his back this year. Like, and he's old and he's had back injuries in the past.
It's been a problem since Detroit. He messed up his back with Patricia. I don't know if it was Patricia's last year or the year before, but he really fucked up his back and had like multiple fractures, and he finished the season, and then he injured it again, like at the end of the year. And then I think he injured it like in the following year. So when we traded him to the Rams, we were kind of like, you know what? The injuries are kind of a problem right now. This is time maybe to get off of them. And I mean, I was still thinking he was gonna be good, but we were kind of thinking his shelf life is probably near the end. And I don't know how he keeps playing, honestly. Like, that guy is probably going to be crippled by like 45 years old, but man, sure makes a great play to watch.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And like you said too, their defense has been fantastic. Everything about that team's been fantastic. I mean, they still got an elite running back in Kyren Williams, as well as Blake Corum's there too, and they don't even use him that much, but they don't need to. And I know Kyron's not having like the electric fantasy season this year that he usually does, but that's because when they get to the goal line, I guess they're just like Stafford, Devontae, and Puka. Between the 3 of them, we're going to throw a touchdown more often than not, so we don't need to run it in. And it's worked fantastic, so there's no reason to change it. But they easily could at any time, because last year, every time they were down there, you give the ball to Kyren, he finds his way in. So who knows when the playoffs comes? They're like, I know you guys are watching these two. Now we're just going to slip it to Kyron. He's going to get in. So it's a hard team to stop, and it's a hard team to imagine not winning at all based on what we're currently seeing.
Yeah, like I said, this is probably the closest we've ever seen the NFL. All right, it's there isn't like an elite team this year. I really don't think so. There's some really good teams, but I don't think there's an elite team like we've seen some of the past years. You mean you can even say the Eagles were elite last year, the way they're playing offense and defense by the end of the year. So I'm curious to see how this shakes up. I think we're kind of at that stage where like you start to see who the real teams are now, though. But we've had so much uncertainty of who the real teams even are at this point that I still don't know how like to even predict that. And like, the Lions, the way they're getting like a player back that's going to potentially like really change the dynamic of their offense. Like if another team has something like that too, or someone's coming back healthy, like the Packers, if Jaden Reed, that's a big deal still. It might not be as big as someone like Frank Reich now, but it could be. Who knows? I'm sure there's some other teams on this list that have that same situation coming up.
Yeah,
and that's going to really tilt some of these records near the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's our top 10. I'd say shockingly close. We were pretty darn close to them. A few outliers. Like the two you had in that I didn't have in. Like I said, I wrote down all 32 for me. I had the Chiefs at 11 and the Colts at 12, so they were 1 and 2 spots out. So I still had them in my top 12. If we had done top 12, fuck, we might have had all the exact same teams. Just in a little bit different order. Who's your number 32 ranked team? Who's the worst team in the NFL? I mean, it's Titans, Raiders, or Jets. I mean, it's got to be one of those three, right?
I guess I'm trying to avoid looking at bad teams. I did so long in my life, I try to avoid the bottom of the barrel now. I've been used to being down there so long. I cared about those teams a lot more back in the day. Yeah, putting me on the spot, I would have to say the Titans, but I don't
that's
know.
Who I
had
number
watched
32.
them enough, but like, I mean, some of the games earlier in this year, I don't know if they're playing better now that they like fired their coach. I know they had like a little bit of like a close game against some team earlier this year, or later this last couple games, but they were just, I think, on pace to one of the worst teams, if not the worst team of all time earlier in the year. Yeah. So I'm going to still pick them. Aaron Glenn has the Jets playing almost better after they traded some of their talent. And I think sometimes when you do that, those other guys are so hungry that were, backups, that I think that kind of helps, build a little bit more success, because there's just so much more drive to just be good and great, where I think some of those other, long-standing defensive players were just kind of like at their end. They just didn't, not to say they didn't try, but there's something about motivation that matters. And I think with the Jets, they kind of proved that as soon as they traded some of those players. It seemed like, the team cohesively has improved a little bit. And the Raiders, they have too much talent. I know they suck, but I think that's a lot. Chip Kelly, who just got fired, I think that's a talent issue. So I'm curious to see how they will play next week. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans, and I think it might not even be that close.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was one of those three. Like, beyond that, it's like Giants, Dolphins, Saints, maybe, but they all have like something at least. Not so much the Saints, but the Saints have still won a few games, so I couldn't put them below the Titans. And
they've played hard against some good teams, like you said before, the Bills. Like they've definitely played some close games that a lot of people didn't expect them to. They're probably playing above their talent. They're not a very good team.
Seems like it. Yeah, I mean they're finally dealing with the whole cap hell situation they've been pushing down the road for like the last 6 years, honestly.
That's true. They're still suffering from Drew Brees. Like that's what that is. They tried to keep that offense, that team together to win a Super Bowl. Honestly, the Lions are going to be in that same position. I think we're going to just keep throwing the money back at this point. We have the talent locked in for like 5 years, so there's no reason to not keep going for 5 years. And then just what happens after that happens.
Yeah. Let it ride.
That's where Dan Campbell came from.
Get some more good picks. Yeah.
Yep. So we might have 5 really good years, and then it's going to be really bad. But I'm gonna just soak it in while it lasts.
That's all you can do. Yeah.
Yep. That's what you got to do to keep talent. Like the Lions, like I said, talent-wise, we have the most talented team in the league, in my opinion, or one of. If you want to keep that talent, you got to push the money back. You got to keep pushing it back. Otherwise, you're just going to have to lose players and try to replace them with young players, which I don't know. We've been signing everyone. I thought that's how we originally were going to do it, but the Lions literally have been signing every single player when it comes up. I don't know how they keep doing it.
Just pushing that buck farther down. But yeah, I don't know. That's our top 10. That was the show. I would wish you luck on Thanksgiving, but I don't really want to.
It's okay. I already told all my coworkers. I'm like, I was finishing up a ticket. So that in IT, you do a ticket and then you can send it to other teams. So I sent it over to one of the network guys because he had to do something. I'm like, hey man, this is what you got to do. And I put in like at the end of it when I signed off, I said, tomorrow, 12 p.m., Lions 27, Packers 20, book it. So, and then I told him, I don't wish your team any luck tomorrow. So it's okay. If you don't wish my team luck, I've been doing the same thing all day. I think it's going to be a really close game. Like I said, we hit on the weakness and the strength, the Packers' strength and the Lions' weakness that are going to be pretty much the telling tale of the game. I think we'll know pretty early in the game how it's going to go with that. And if it looks like it's looked for the Lions against the Eagles and not necessarily the Eagles, more the Vikings game again, or the earlier Packer game this year, then it's going to be a long game. But if they can somehow manage to keep the middle of the offensive line intact and not get pushed over, I feel pretty confident about the Lions. I don't know if the Packers, if Gibbs can get to the second level, can really slow us down at that point.
Yeah, well, we're gonna need our linebackers to be on their A game and not let them get those huge chunks. It's okay if he gets away for 5-6 yards, but we need that speed to be present.
How have you guys been on outside runs? Because against the Lions week 1, you guys are incredible against the outside runs. That's where Gibbs kills you. There's not a better running back in the league when it comes to getting to the outside and breaking for a big one.
Not as dominant, but I mean, Cooper's he's been good, but I mean, he's had a couple blown tackles that, like he has them for, a 2-yard game or a 1-yard loss, and then he doesn't wrap them up and they get away, and then it's a 20-yard chunk. There's been a few of those this year, which is really disappointing. Quay, I think Quay missed a couple games now too, but when he's back, I mean, he's fast. He doesn't usually do that.
That's the big. Yeah, that's going to probably be a big matchup. Is your linebackers versus Gibbs? Like that's going to be a big deal. If they can get to Gibbs and get him to him by the line of scrimmage, you're probably going to have a pretty solid game against him. But again, if he gets to like 3 or 4 yards down the field and he can get one-on-one with a linebacker, all year he's been cooking that guy more so than he was last year, and that would be the one thing. And the other thing you guys did really good last time we played is you took out JMO, but that was when we were kind of running him a little bit different. They are running JMO on different plays right now. They're running him more on misdirection runs. They're not just running posts and things like that like they were against the Packers, because that's what you guys did against us. You took out the deep play by taking out JMO, and then you crushed the middle of the field. So that is the way to beat the Lions, but they are becoming a little bit more aware of their weakness, and they're trying to play around that. So it's going to be a closer game than it was last time, I think.
Well, fine if it's close, as long as the Packers win. I mean, this is a big game. This is kind of a very important game for these two teams. Both these teams have a real chance of missing the playoffs if we lose this game, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, you have to lose probably 3 games. You'd have to probably lose some more games after this thing, because we're both basically 7-4.
Yeah, but neither of us have a super easy schedule coming up either. I mean, you guys got to play the Rams. Yeah. I mean, we have to play the Ravens and almost at the end of the year, when if Lamar is at full force and their defense is looking good, that's not an easy match. Yeah, I mean,
this is one of the biggest games of the season already. Yeah, I would say for what it means to and this is also whoever loses is not getting the division, right? Mm-hmm. So you basically you are a wild card team at that point, because the Bears somehow keep winning. The
Bears threw a huge wrench into the whole fucking thing. So yeah,
I still think the winner of the division comes from this game, though. I do not expect the Bears to keep it up. They've had a lot of crazy wins that they probably shouldn't have against not such good opponents. Yeah, the Lions and Packers have struggled against some bad opponents, but they also have a lot more dominant games too than the Bears did. And you could just watch the game and you can tell they look a little different than the Bears. So yeah, this is to me the winner of this game, division winner. It's a big deal.
Yeah, but then the other one's fighting for a wild card spot. Like I said, it's not easy to come by this year. The NFC West, like I said, if the Rams and the Seahawks are both going, whether who wins and who gets the wild card, whatever. But I think the Niners are probably going too, because the rest of their schedule is not too bad. Like they have a pretty easy schedule for the rest of the year, so I don't know how they miss. So it really only leaves, one wild card spot.
You're saying the Niners? You think they're going to make one because their schedule's easy?
Yeah, like I don't know how they don't win enough games to make the playoffs at this point. They only had to
I
win
think
like
it's
2
going to catch
more.
up to him. I think the injuries are going to catch up to him, and I think Purdy's going to catch up
Maybe.
to him. Maybe they go back to Jones, and that helps stabilize things. But yeah, I don't. I know they probably, if I looked at their schedule, maybe I would change my mind. But I just something tells me they're not going to do it. I'm just
Yeah,
not
maybe
as
not.
bullish on
Maybe
them.
that
But
opens up an extra spot, but
yeah, they also have Division 2 that's really tough. Like, are they going to? Do they play the Rams and Seahawks again? Like, they could lose both those
they
games.
might.
They probably
They
should lose
might.
both
Yeah, I
those
don't know
games.
what that
And
situation
the
is.
Cardinals have been playing good ever since they switched to
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett. They've
Brissett's
not looked
been
bad.
good. They're
Yeah, they
definitely
have a
not
lot
a
of really
pushover.
close losses, but they're mostly losses, unfortunately. So, but yeah, should we call her there?
Well, one more thing.
Okay.
I made my trade, so let's
it went through,
let's
eh?
break it
Okay.
down. So
I'm gonna have to get the
I have
notebook
been
out.
talking to Poor Boy since last week. Actually, we kind of initially started talking, numbers and stuff, and trying to figure out what would work. He wanted to see his team play one more week just to kind of get an idea where he would be right before the trade deadline. I'm like, it's fine. He did win, which he was really excited about. But then when we started talking about the odds of him making the playoffs, he realized that there's pretty much no chance still. So
Okay.
we made a trade. He traded me Lamar Jackson, Devontae Adams, and I am trading him my third rounder, Jameson Williams, and Quinshad Judkins.
Okay. Nice. So we got another pick trade.
Yep.
Well, did it already
the way
go
I look
through?
at it,
Is it? Did you guys already do the trade?
yeah, it's already done. It's already
Oh,
through.
okay. So I just
my
gotta
roster's
write
already
down
set.
the. I just gotta write down the pick.
third rounder. Yep.
So Jim's third rounder goes to Poor. Okay. I don't have my phone on me, so I didn't see it go through.
No. So I figured I have maybe the best player in fantasy this year, but I have not been able to get consistency out of some other players.
Sure.
So I was like, I really needed to make a deal, and some people have been making deals. I think if no one else made trades, I'd have been more happy with my roster. But now it's like, shoot, I got to probably make something. I did not want to get rid of a third rounder. I told Poor Boy multiple times I'm not trading a third, but I saw Heaps made that trade with Vicky, and I'm like, I also thought about trading for Jacobs, but my team didn't need a running back. I needed a receiver, so that's why I wanted Adams, and I think Lamar is the wild card. I think he could end up breaking me, but I think he could also be the reason that I win the chip, because if he gets back to what he was earlier in the year, I mean, he was looking like the best quarterback in fantasy again.
Who's your quarterback right now?
I was using Goff, and I picked up Purdy, but I think I dropped Purdy. No, I might have Purdy and Goff still on my team.
I think you just picked Purdy up because he was in the last
I picked him up.
episodes.
I just thought he could be kind of like a guy I can swap out with Goff, because I'm like, okay, I'll play Goff on good. Whoever had the better game or a better matchup, I'd play that guy. That was my plan. But I figured I couldn't get a better receiver. I wanted to get it. I was trying to get a hold of Ashley to try to get Puka, but she never seems to respond. So I was like, I'm gonna just do this one. Poor Boy's talking to me. I'm not I don't love the trade for myself, because I did not want to go for a third rounder, but again, I want to try to win it. So that's why I'm here. And I also feel like, being that I have Taylor as my keeper for next year, I'm already kind of ahead of everybody, outside of there are people I have a top 5 guy. So I feel like it's a little more easy for me to get rid of a third rounder, but I still believe by the fact that you should not get rid of even a third rounder for anyone at this point. So
you just did.
I just did. I just wanted to do something fun. If I was if this is $100 league, I would not have made this trade, but it's not. So we're gonna have some fun. Hopefully Lamar Jackson comes back. I'm actually not confident in Lamar Jackson coming back, because I think there's some big problems there. But
I mean, if he does, though, I mean, that you have a pretty stacked team then.
Yeah, and
the quarterback is scoring 25-30 weekly like he did last year. I mean, that's a huge difference maker.
And if the new quarterback in Minnesota can just be average, maybe Jefferson's back to being a top 15 receiver. But I literally just did the quick lineup after I made the trade, and I was like, "Where's Jefferson? He's on my bench." I'm just like, this is so sad. I almost want to cry. So
that's painful.
But yeah, I still think I'm gonna try to make another trade. I want to try to trade players for players. So maybe Jack, you can do that with me. I don't know. Maybe she wants to do some trade for players instead of picks. But I'll
give her a text. We'll be watching football and Hopefully,
I'll be sending out trades to people there because I have such a stacked bench. I still have like, I guess now I don't have as much, but
well, I'm enjoying these crunch time trades. There's been two huge trades in the last 2 days now, and there's
this is what
2 more days.
This is actually what makes the league fun though now, right? Because now people are going to be doing this every year. It's going to make teams a little bit more lopsided, but then you're going to be like, well, this is not my year. I'm going to sell it off. This is my year. I got to make a play.
And I did say it last. I mean, I said it the last couple of weeks in the podcast, but I'm going to move that trade deadline up. I think 1 week, just so people don't. I don't want people to be absolutely. I want people to have to make a decision, not have the decision made for them. I thought it was a little late.
I was kind of shocked at how late I saw.
Yeah,
because when I was texting Poor Boy, I was like, I thought that was the last week. So I was trying to make the trade.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm going to wait. And I was like, wait, we're going to need to make this trade now. And I looked, I'm like, oh, I guess it's the 28th.
I think I moved it back at one point, but there wasn't that much trading. And now that we can trade picks, I'm going to move it up at least 1 week, maybe 2 weeks.
I would say 2. I think
I want people to make the decision like now. I think Poor Boy, like the decision was made for him of fuck it. I'm out. I might as well trade my players. I want people.
It's got to be a bigger risk for you. You can't just
decision.
Be like, all right, I know I'm done. Time to sell everyone off, and then move on to next year. And then then it's just like 4 teams just become like stacked. That's not fun either. You still want like the teams to be somewhat similar throughout the whole year. So I 100% agree with that. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I also forgot. I got the Rams defense in the trade too. That was how I told them I'd get rid of J-Mo. I'm like, I'm not getting rid of J-Mo unless I'm the Rams D. I wanted to have a defense I can trust to swap out defenses throughout the rest of the year. But I'm pretty happy about my team. I think I'm gonna be one of the threats to win it all. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, I wish you luck at fantasy. I do not wish the Lions luck on Thursday.
I wish you good luck. I wish you have a good game, but I wish you lose.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyone who's listening, it's probably Thanksgiving when you're listening. So, I mean, if you're listening tomorrow, so hopefully you're not listening. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know if people are doing it.
If you're still listening to this and it's Thanksgiving Day, go out, have some turkey with your family, and don't listen to us until tomorrow. But you've already listened to the whole podcast if you got to this point. So I'm sorry that you had to endure this and miss out on Thanksgiving in some form or fashion with your family.
All right.
Go
Lions. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and enjoy your Jameis Winston quote of the week. Goodbye.
Another trick play as Olszewski throws. It's caught. Olszewski with the pass into the end zone for a Giants touchdown.